Liberals continuing their collective meltdown over illegal immigrants showing up in their ritzy towns. It took only 2 days after arriving for migrants to be shipped away from Martha's Vineyard, even though the island is flush with cash and plenty of beds. Turns out Democrats simply don't practice what they preach on providing sanctuary. And now they're lobbying some serious accusations over the matter, accusing Republicans, are you ready, of human trafficking and crimes against humanity. But red state governors are as defiant as ever.
They want open borders. They want you to deal with the open borders, but they want to be immune from the consequences of these policies.
And now Texas is saying, we're fighting back. We're going to send them to your neighborhood, and we're going to keep those buses coming until finally this administration wakes up.
Meanwhile, our so-called border czar, Kamala Harris, might want to look in the mirror after making this accusation against Republicans.
I think it is the height of irresponsibility, frankly, a dereliction of duty when you are an elected leader to play those kinds of games with human life and human beings. If you think there's a problem, be part of the solution.
And one border state Democrats telling Kamala how it really is.
The border's not secure, without due respect to the VP. Look, we get thousands of people along the border, from 6,000 to 8,000 people a day. They're releasing people, and we can send you pictures and videos of what's happening in Del Rio, in the Valley, El Paso, and other places. People are coming in.
Human trafficking, Jessica? Really? Really? That's a question. Really?
Oh, really?
Really?
I don't know how those lawsuits are going to go, but I watched this happen, and the people of Martha's Vineyard, who, by the way, aren't the fancy summering folks, it's the real people who live there. The average median income is around $70,000. They're a majority-minority enclave, except in the summer when a bunch of rich white people show up and, they ignore Alan Dershowitz. So Martha's Vineyard is, everyone got that joke?
Yes.
Okay.
But it was a very elitist joke. Typical.
Whatever.
Don't get distracted. Just power through it.
It's only Monday. So I didn't see the argument that they were behaving, not commensurate with their values.
What do you mean they deported them in 2 days?
Yeah. Well, they sent them to where they were supposed to be going. They were supposed to be going to Boston. I know there's some dispute about these pamphlets that were promising them, 8 months of cash assistance and job training and housing, et cetera. But these people were told that they were going to Boston.
They're told they're going to Massachusetts.
No,
Isn't the Vineyard in Massachusetts?
Yes, it is in Massachusetts, but that's not what they were told.
It's like being sent to New York and winding up on Long Island and being like, you said you were sending me to New York.
Let me power through.
Sorry.
When we get to the point where the performance of practical jokes on our political enemies is the standard, it's a really crappy place to be. And these are people, I understand, I've seen pieces about how happy some people are to have gotten.
Well, why is it a joke? You wanted the migrants.
It is not a joke. These people are coming into the country illegally. The president has flown over 900 flights of the illegals into the interior of the United States. He doesn't notify the people, like in Westchester County where I live. The airport's a mile and a half from where I live. And I know cops, and they tell me every time they fly them in the dark of night so that no one sees them. So don't act like if we don't offer them a job or we don't give them, the ability to get trained for a job, we're doing something wrong. I don't believe that there's any problem. There's no kidnapping. There's no human trafficking. It's a joke. That is not forced. They came here voluntarily. They forced their way in, if you want to talk about force and coercion. And by the way, the fact that Martha's Vineyard is $70,000 a year average income, what do you think those southern towns are that are being overrun at the border? Or the ranchers who can't afford to ranch anymore because the whole terrain of their ranch is destroyed. You know what? The liberals are the ones who do all the talking and do all the complaining. They talk the talk. They don't walk the walk.
Yeah, Greg, you're right, Judge. I feel like they break into the country, breaking our laws. They don't get to go, I want a flight to Miami Beach. Yeah. You don't get to pick and choose.
The United States is the United States.
Right.
They're happy to be here, and I don't blame them. It's the greatest place in the world, whether you're in that island what I'm not allowed in, or anywhere for that matter. But what the Republicans did is they succeeded in doing what the Democrats and media always say they want. a conversation, right? Whenever we would talk about a policy and talk about law enforcement or justice, or we have to follow the rules, they would go, we really need to have a conversation. And so now you have a conversation. And the only way you could get the conversation was to shame and expose the liberals for their phony compassion. So don't get mad over the issue. Don't get mad about the people calling attention to the issue, because after all, we're just raising awareness. And raising awareness is like the greatest thing liberals have ever wanted to do from the beginning of time. So what we're seeing right here is not in my backyard.
Yeah.
Unless you're trimming the hedges.
Yeah.
And then we love you, but I'm so glad the leaf blower is so loud so I don't have to talk to you. And no, you can't use the bathroom and you can't have any water either. But we love our migrants, don't we? Yeah, you're a rich, entitled freak. You panicked over 50 migrants coming over. And then when they're leaving, you learn 2 words, one of them adios, so you can hug them on the way out. That was so compassionate. And Kamala, what these governors did and what these Democratic mayors did, including the Democratic mayor of El Paso, did what she couldn't do.
Right.
They actually moved the ball down the field. This is something she wouldn't have the bravery or the intelligence to do because she's lazy, to quote the judge. These are the same people. Who volunteer for one day at the soup kitchen in 2015, and they still bring it up. They go, oh, yeah, that's their version of compassion. Oh, you know what? I was Thanksgiving. It was so great. And then meanwhile, for the rest of their lives, they smear Republicans for being bigots. They smear border agents for doing their job. And what they do is worse. They're an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment. My favorite story of the year, by the way, and it ain't no practical joke when you move the ball down a field. You guys mastered the art of the prop, the hands up, don't shoot that never happened, right? Yep. Using every criminal death, every suspect death as an opportunity for reform. And no, don't let a crisis go to waste, you would scream. Well, now here's our crisis, and we're not letting it go to waste. Too bad. Sorry.
Well said, Greg. The best part, Dana, they brought in the National Guard to deport them, and they have them at a military base.
Yeah. Right. And, and there's a Republican governor up there, right? And so I think that he was probably a little bit empathetic to what the border states are going through, but he can't get the attention of the White House. The border, like Henry Cuellar, who we just showed, the representative from the border town, he can't even get the White House on the phone. So I think one of the reasons this is happening is that the liberals are embarrassed. Ben Shapiro on his podcast today said they're humiliated. And so now they're fighting back, and they want to fight back about pamphlets. Let me say, if this is not an argument about pamphlets. Why didn't Biden call the cabinet together when there was going to be, when you had 53 migrants die in that truck overnight? What about all these little girls that we've seen that were dropped over the wall, walking by themselves, some of them dying? What about that little boy that died? Where's the emergency then? They only have an emergency now, and that's why I think the Republicans have been successful. Now, all of these people, we should care about them all, whether they're at the border town or they're in Martha's Vineyard. And that's what you don't see yet. The last thing I'd point out is, you've mentioned this before, I can't remember the phrase you used, but the story is out of sight, out of mind if the media, if it's not happening in their city or in their own backyard. So now we are having the conversation, but how many people this weekend all of a sudden were seeing everything about Martha's Vineyard that didn't really know how bad the migrant crisis was? Yeah. Now they do.
So glad we had that conversation, aren't you?
It was the best 8 minutes of my day.
It's the kind of conversation we need to have.
Yes.
All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.